$1,200, and that puts us at 66% as of June. So we're doing really well there. The second page, you guys have seen this before, with our interest, how the interest rates have done over time on these different accounts. Currently, the only certificates of deposit that are doing well or better than the money market Trust Indiana account are long-term investments, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. And currently those are the only ones that are outperforming Trust Indiana. Otherwise, Trust Indiana is very competitive with the other CD terms, and with the liquidity of Trust Indiana, I think we're doing really well there, especially considering how we've had really great performance this year from them. And in all the years past, we've really done well with them. So that's basically it for the investment reports. Coming on the next one, that'll be in the finance meeting in January, I will have the yield curve in here so you can see exactly how Trust Indiana compares to the other treasuries of the other investment types, so that you can really see it. But that's still work in progress at the moment, but it is very nearly there. Thank you. So those are investments so far.
Okay, for the Friends report, the Friends have officially launched their first ever website. They're very excited. They've already gotten some signups electronically from it, so it's obviously having some good impact, which is great. And then for the director's report, I wanted to give a big shout out to the entire team. They did an amazing job of summer reading. The team set very lofty goals, and they just smashed them, which was excellent. Over 3,300 participants read over 1 million minutes this summer. So a huge thank you to the team for that achievement, and a big congrats to the residents of Porter County for doing such an outstanding job during summer reading. And that's what I got for you, Julie.
Jesse, I just had a question about something that I saw that I thought was really cool that I didn't know about, and it's the concerts at the library parks. I have not heard about that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and maybe in the future let us know when those are coming up? If we missed if we missed a Facebook notification or something, I didn't realize that, but I thought that'd be cool.
Sure. Yeah, since I think June, I believe, is when we started. In your board folder is a document. I think it's called Marketing Notables or Community Engagement Notables. And what that is a list of the upcoming events for the next month. So hopefully you guys will be able to see what's coming up, including any concerts there may be. But there'll be concerts in partnership with a couple different groups in Portage, for example. They're very excited about their concerts up in Portage, and it's a good use of the space. The city there no longer allows them to use a couple of different locations. They've had some different uses for it, and so they've been really excited to come over to us. And patrons are starting to learn a little bit more about it. It's a good opportunity for us, especially because we keep hearing people think that we were closed in Portage because of the construction that was occurring out in front. So it's been really nice to welcome those folks in and let them know, no, actually we are open. Come on in, use the space. And so they're really liking it. But every month going forward, you'll see that that marketing or community engagement notables, where you'll see a list of the events that are coming up that might be of interest to the board. Kind of the little bit bigger things that we got going on.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's really neat. So I guess I have one more question too about in your communications. I didn't realize that we were a partner with the Portage YMCA in their food program. How does that work with the library being a partner? Is that a financial commitment or?
Oh, not at all for us. What it is it utilizes some federal funding and local funding that the YMCA gets. What we act as is a central location, because they're trying to find a place in different communities where they can come out and bring things for us. So our involvement is luckily we've kind of negotiated and had a lot of conversations. We started it, goodness, I think we were having a lot of talks last year even that really got off the ground in around January, February is when they started really running with it. And so they'll bring in those meals for the kids that show up in our area and handle everything. So we don't have to worry about the food safety component. We don't have to worry about the financial component. The real goal is that we have children coming into the library every day. It's in a residential area, And so it's supposed to be a convenient location, especially with those schools across the street. Just another avenue to try to get children healthy meals any way they can.
Okay. Yeah, I work out at the Portage Y, and I know they give a lot of food out at the Y, but I didn't realize that sometimes they give it out to the library too. That's nice. So, okay, thank you. That was all I had in terms of your report. So we have a motion on the floor and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion?
Yes, Madam President. I'm sorry, I was given the wrong link to log in, so I don't know what was said about the treasurer's report, but there's an error in the monthly financial report, and I'd like that pulled from the items in the consent agenda so that it gives the staff time to fix it and report on it next month.
Okay. Inga, you're aware, or Haley, you know it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I guess we're going to approve everything except, and where was that?
The July fund report.
July fund report. Approve everything except the July fund report.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Do we need to do roll call because of the split with the?
Oh,
Yeah, when
okay.
you
Okay.
can't believe
All
one.
right,
or
let's
remote.
go back. I'm learning as we move along. Okay, we need to do an individual roll call. So, we'll start with Paul Knock.
Aye.
Christy Merritt.
Aye.
Stu Summers.
Uh,
Olga Granite. Aye. Kevin Pazer.
Aye.
Roger Rose.
Aye.
Billy Georgie. Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to items for individual consideration.
So in the 2025 of budget approval for advertising, we received our official circuit breaker number this year, and it was 637,700. Well, when we actually factor in the additional 5% we receive below expected every year, the total budget difference is around 1,040,000. So while we must ask for the full amount to ensure we get as much as possible, our team prepares for less because of the realities. And we call that budget now the variable budget. Overall, with tax caps, the amount we expect not to receive, we're anticipating being around 484,000 less in revenue in 2026 and in 2025. In your packet, you'll find a draft budget that represents the culmination of months of hard work by the entire team. Every department went through the full zero-based budgeting process, including detailed metrics analysis, examining budget trends over time, forecasting against our strategic goals. After this analysis process, each department met with the admin team for a series of conversations through kind of May, June, and into July, and even into August here, where we look at items in 3 different categories: essential, strategic, and discretionary. Once each team has submitted their information, we review them holistically in light of the potential income we anticipate receiving. This is a pretty difficult process, and honestly, I wish we could recommend every team's ideas that they pitch to us, because there's some great ideas in there. But what you see here is what we feel appropriate based on the constraints that we're faced. We've provided some high-level justifications on the far right of the budget comparison in your packet, just so you can see kind of the high-level ups and downs and where those are coming from. Some of the larger dollar amounts comes from savings in salaries and wages, contractual services, books. These differences represent strategic decreases that match actual trends over time and anticipated expenditures to meet the demand that our metrics are showing. Moving forward, I would expect each year to have some large swings, so don't be surprised as we move forward in the budgeting process to see some big moves, because our entire team is heavily involved in the process, and it is an ongoing negotiation where we're really looking at these various lines and deciding what strategically is the best fit. A great example of this might be that IT may have a large server project one year and need more funds, and the following years perhaps it's facilities that has a greater need than IT, and they may have minor concerns. And so IT may be larger one year, facilities larger the next year. And this is kind of the beauty of zero-based budgeting, is we adapt based on the needs of our organization in a proactive manner ahead of time. As a reminder, this is the first step in the budget process, where we're approving it for advertising, followed by the public meeting that would happen next, and then the adoption following. And so I would recommend approval for advertising.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the preliminary budget for 2026?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor to approve the budget. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yes, Stu?
Jesse, I really appreciate the way you've got that column of explaining what the differences are, even down to the $2,000 and $4,000 level. That's really helpful to us. I texted you earlier today. You've got two line items. One's going up by 400,000, another's going up by 70,000 without an explanation. So I wanted to ask if we can give you a chance to explain those two, please.
Sure, I appreciate that. So we've kind of gone through this each of the years. So what happens when we're doing our budget is we have the DLGF budget where we have to ask for a certain amount of money. Then we have the reality of what we're actually going to get after the tax caps, after the loss of revenue that may come in, whatever that is. And so that's that variable budget that we talk about. However, we still have to ask for the full amount. And so we have two philosophies of doing this. What many libraries do is they distribute those monies equally amongst every single line. I find that to be very confusing for the team because I want them to really be in charge of their budgets, and I want to be able to show the taxpayers the real number that we're asking for in the majority of lines. But I got to stick it somewhere. And so what we do is we put it in two lines that may need more money, the repair to building and those furniture and equipment sort of lines, because those also have rainy day attached to them. And so if we need to pull some money out, we certainly can. And those two lines are ones that the board's going to be very heavily involved in the conversation versus the other lines that's all about the teams really managing those budget lines. And so essentially it's where we stick all that money that we don't anticipate getting, but we still have to ask for it.
So in other words, it's a reserve for revenue loss.
Exactly. And we have to show it. And so, yeah, that's the line that makes the most sense, because we can, if we do need to spend that money and we're legally allowed to, we can pull it, of course, but we also have that rainy day money to kind of help us as well if we need to. And it doesn't mess up anybody else's lines, and they can manage it, and we can show the public what we're really spending in all those lines.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a good explanation.
Agreed. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, we will take a roll call vote. All those, if you're in favor, say aye. Paul Knopf?
You need to,
What?
you need to do by person.
Each one. That's what it was.
She just called one Paul.
Oh, I thought you were doing, I'm sorry.
No.
Like you said, all in favor.
Oh, well, I just meant if you were in favor, say aye. Paul Knopf?
Aye.
Chrissy Merritt? Aye. Sue Summers?
Aye.
Olga Granite? Aye. Kevin Pazer?
Aye.
Roger Rose?
Aye.
Julie Georgie? Aye. 7-0. Moving on to State Internet Consortium.
Okay, this is something that we do each year. It's just affirming our, I guess, eligibility to take advantage of those, that State Internet Consortium. It doesn't bind us in any way to that. And what I will add is, given the current financial environment that we're in with I'm gonna make sure I say the right thing here. The state technology grant is now gone. And so that helped cover the costs that E-rate in the past had not covered, and that is not available to us anymore. So we're on the hook for another about $30,000 a year for that. So we are being a little more proactive now, and we've begun discussions with our internet service provider and our IT managed services providers, and we're going to be looking around to see if there's another provider for us. We've been with ENA for a long time. They've recently migrated into Zayo. We haven't noticed a service drop, but they are pretty expensive. It's kind of like the full white glove service. They do a lot for us. But we made a decision to move to and so we're going to be looking at this one too. Technology and children will always embarrass you in public.
I've heard no tourist statement.
I haven't heard that before.
Sorry, guys, 1 second.
Steal that one from my
Yeah. I've never heard that. Oh, my gosh.
For you guys that aren't here, we're having a little, screen issue.
We're having technology.
The owl's eyes turned off.
Yeah, we're in the meeting. It's just that we can't see our remote faces right now, so just give
We
that a
got you.
second.
It's just the TV that's.
We can hear and see you now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
All
good.
right, well,
We can't see
You're
you.
not as lucky.
well, I'll get this TV just to. I'm so sorry, guys. I promise we're looking into this. I'm just gonna keep talking and hopefully this
Yeah.
connects.
It's about that IT service that we're.
Yeah.
talking
It needs more money, is what you're saying.
about. So we were thinking about
The
changing.
white glove service.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Those white gloves are coming back out.
Back to Screen share. So anyway, our managed services provider would be able to fill some of those gaps, such as we're talking about moving the firewall management over to them and things like that, which will make us a little more agile in terms of our internet service provider to kind of look around and see if there's a better deal that we get now that we don't have that state grant to kind of help bridge the gap there. So we are looking into ways to save money on this in the future. But in the meantime, we do recommend signing the resolution for the internet consortium so that we do have those rates available to us
Have you ever used the state's offerings?
every year. As long as I've been here, we've always used
Oh,
it.
so does the ENI then?
That is the state's, yeah, that is the preferred provider.
Okay, okay.
So, yeah.
All right, I lost the screen share.
Here, let me see. Yes, there we go. Not decline, just come back. Please come back. Oh, wait,
Can you still hear us?
I think the
Jesse?
TV is saying it's declining your request.
it looked,
There you go.
there,
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
There we go.
Okay,
No, no, thank you.
Stu, you look very amused, I'm sorry. So, okay, so.
All right, stop. Okay.
My recommendation is that we do go ahead and join that, approve the resolution to join the internet consortium, state internet consortium.
Anyone like to make a motion?
So move. That we join or stay in the consortium.
I second. Motion on the floor to continue with the state internet consortium, as presented by Inga. Is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call. Paul Knopf,
Aye.
Christy Barrett.
Aye.
Stu Summers,
Aye.
Olga Granite. Aye. Kevin Pazer.
Aye.
Roger Rhodes.
Aye.
Julie Georgie. Aye. Motion approved. Moving on to space and facility use policy.
Okay. This is a, kind of a redo of our meeting room policy. I have also looped in the, conduct policy that you actually just reproved a few months ago. There weren't any substantial changes to that. And in my merging it in here, there also weren't very many substantial changes to that portion of the policy. There were quite a few changes to our meeting room policy, which was pretty old. We hadn't really done an update on that in a while. And I did a lot of research into this. I read dozens and dozens of policies. I spoke with multiple different lawyers at the Office of Intellectual Freedom and some state contacts. And I just did quite a bit of research. So hopefully you've had a chance to review that. There was one point that we had a question for you all on, and that is when it comes to, especially some of the larger rooms are what we call our actual meeting rooms, which all hold 15 or more people, or greater than 15 people. We had considered the possibility of adding the need for a current library card. We currently don't require a library card to use any of our spaces, but we had thought about whether or not to do that. There are some advantages and there's some disadvantages. So if we required a current library card in good standing, And that could be either it can include any library card that we have, including reciprocals or whatever, or we could just limit that to our own residents. We could also limit it to adults. There's all kinds of things we could do there. But if we were to require a library card, it may potentially deny some outside groups that might come in here that might create some controversy. I know that there's some political type of groups that might draw some attention. And I guess my concern is that if I'm going to have to deal with something controversial in our community, I would rather that be something that actually originated from our community. I don't necessarily want outside groups to be able to come in here and cause controversy that we would have to potentially defend, and they're not even our patrons. On the other hand, we do have some groups that come in and provide good services for our patrons, outside groups. So there's a gentleman from LaPorte, I think, that comes and does some Q&As for people about Medicaid and Medicare, and some of our residents find value to that. So there's that question. Some of our team members have pointed out that oh no, that was the Medicare Medicaid ones. That was something that my team members brought attention to me for us. And I don't know, it's one of our more precious resources, the meeting rooms. We only have so many of them. I don't feel like they're so saturated that I'm really concerned about other outside members using them. So I honestly have a little bit of ambivalence here, and we wanted some input from the board about if you have a preference for that.
What about writing it to where a library card is required, and that if they do not have one, they can request an exception and have like a process for that, or what is the group, what is that, and then you kind of make
So
the exception.
that is, my understanding is that I would need to know what would be, I would prefer to just codify that into the policy, because when you're saying yes to some groups and no to others,
Yeah.
you
That
are
feels
running
like
into, there's a free speech issue there, and that's where
Yeah.
libraries get sued when it comes into saying yes to this group but no to this one, and why. So I just want to be careful about that. And if requiring a library card or not is a very objective criteria. So the first question is, do we want to require a library card? The other advantage, I guess, requiring it is that we could potentially have a more accurate idea of the number of patrons that are using library resources, because we may have some that are just using our meeting rooms and don't have a library card, and that's not reflected in our card count. It's not going to make a huge difference in our card count, but it could.
How many would you say currently don't have, just the Medicare guy, or?
I honestly, I really don't have a great estimate. I think it's probably just a handful. I don't think it's a frequent thing that's happening a lot with the outside people coming in. We are fortunate that we haven't had much controversy. We just know that right now there's a lot of
Yeah, brewing.
there's a lot of potential for that right now.
I
So,
personally think we should require it.
okay.
I mean, shame on me. I assume that was just always the policy that it's a Porter County facility, whether at any of the 5 branches. I think it should be something that's available to people who are patrons of the system.
Can't the outside people, the guy from LaPorte, get a LaPorte County library card and use?
And then they could be reciprocal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mhm.
I
I
think
mean,
most
this was
people have
gonna
a way to
encourage-
do it.
It would encourage them to use their home library too. It's like, okay, I'm glad you're coming over here to provide this information or service, but
Right.
you know.
So, I mean, there's always, there's potential barriers there. You never know if they live in an unserved area. I don't think there's too many of those around us, so I think that most of our neighbors could have a.
Couldn't the Medicare person be like sponsored?
Yes, that's another
Correct,
option.
that's what I was.
We could decide to sponsor them. That is-
Yeah.
That is another option.
And I think we go with the card, especially
Yeah.
if it sponsors certain things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But knowing that we're not gonna, eliminate 100% the valuable
Sure.
services that are coming into the
We're
community.
willing to work with groups that
Right,
are
yeah.
doing, value add.
Okay.
Because the person that has to, book the room so
Right.
they can sponsor them. right?
So there is, one thing I did forget to mention, there is also a $1,500 one-time fee to implement that authentication that would need to happen for our reservation system to talk to our ILS and validate that there is actually a library card there. But that, like I said, it's a one-time fee, and then it's done, and then we have.
I think it adds value to our meeting.
I think so too.
And this is your, Porter County resident value added.
Okay.
I'm with Kevin. I kind of thought you had to have a.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I think that the policy that I proposed to you does actually reflect that change. I just, because if we didn't want it, it was literally just, I'll remove that. But the line is in there to do that. So then then I would request approval for the policy as it stands.
And the $1,500 fee.
Sure, if you'd like to approve that. too.
Yeah, I
You have to do that.
yeah. I would make the motion to approve
Okay.
that and include that we pay that fee at a one-time interval.
And I'll second it.
Okay, thank you.
There's a motion on the floor, with a second to, approve the facility and space use policy as presented by Inga. Is there any further discussion? I just had a question. I think that this is awesome, but I also think it's a ton of information. And so you're going to give this to someone and you're going to expect them to sign it as if they've read it. And
Well, yeah, they'll sign the online application.
Is there a way to make a shortened version with highlights that maybe we can give to people? Because nobody's going to read all of this, I don't think.
They better. They
Isn't
signed
there
it.
onus
They
on
signed
them?
it.
Which parts of that do you not mind if they don't follow?
Well, no, I don't know. It's just a lot and
I agree. I'll be honest with you. I was surprised when I was done at how long it was.
It's a lot, but there's some responsibility and onus that comes with using the space. And if you are going, I mean, it's up to them to read it.
Right.
You know, that's on them. And I think that if everything in here is important, then it should stay in it.
Yeah.
I'll remind you that you are married to an attorney. But part of the reason too is we wanted to put, and what Inga wanted to do was put in some indemnification language that we essentially stole from other libraries to kind of further insulate and protect us if someone
What I could,
does something, uses our space and something bad happens
Mhm.
to protect us.
it was just something that I had seen, that language, I had seen several because I read so many. A lot of them did have some sort of indemnification. One thing I could do is I could pull that out of the policy and I could add it as like a checkbox on the form that they sign up with. That's one section, but I could pull that out. And that's kind of a legalese that makes your eyes glaze over. The rest of it's more kind of policy, but that I could just stick as a checkbox that they confirm or something on the reservation form. And then the policy itself is a little bit leaner. I don't know if there's any other, the other thing I could do is I could pull apart those two things again, the conduct policy and the meeting room, the space use policy. But the reason I combine them is because they really are two sides of the same coin. Like if you're here, you're using our space.
Right.
And so we expect you to follow these rules of conduct.
Have you ever had a situation in a meeting room that has escalated or
Yes.
damage or?
So I mean,
Yeah.
we've had quite a, so for example, the one that comes to mind initially is that we had a group here doing an HOA meeting, and they had a former board member that I don't even remember there was something that was contested, and he claimed to be a board member. They said, no, you're not. And they had the room reserved, and they didn't want him in the meeting room because he kept trying to sit up at the front like he was a board member. It was just very disruptive. And at the same time, like, I didn't know, I'm like, I'm just a library employee. I don't know how to arbitrate this. And so that's why we included the language of having a host so that I can point to somebody who's responsible for this meeting. And I say, you tell me who's on your guest list. And now I have a definitive thing.
Yeah.
This person isn't on our guest list. Okay, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. And if they don't, now I can just call cops. Because I have a definitive person who's going to tell me. And then if the host isn't there, I'm sorry, I have to terminate this meeting because the host is expected to be here for stuff like this. So that's one of the reasons we added some stuff like that.
I feel like whenever something like this does become thick and lengthy, there's always a reason why each item was added, right?
Yeah.
This one time.
Yeah, right.
Right. And
And my motion stands to move this forward. I think of all the stuff that I should read that.
I would
If
think-
there
Here's
anything
the
is long,
addition.
and it's on me. I know that when I click approval, so.
I guess I was more thinking about like maybe younger patrons, and you might have a team group that wants to come in and use the meeting room. They have a library card.
Mhm.
Do it.
Well, welcome to your.
well, so one of our other policies with our accounts is that anybody who's under 18 has to have their account sponsored by an adult. So the assumption is that there's some oversight of their use of that fund.
Right, that's what I was thinking. That's like. 30
Realistically, if that's gonna mean that people will read it better, I don't know, but we did we did talk about that as well, that all of our under 18 cards are either emancipated, have a limited use, like just like 3 checkouts, or most of them have to have an adult who sponsors it. So, yeah.
I think the other part is that the people that you're talking about that aren't gonna wanna read a lot, they're just gonna read the first anyway, which is the most important. And the rest of it is more specific, very specific applications, so I think it's fine.
And when they break the rules, you be able to point to the.
It's pretty common sense stuff. Like, I think that, I don't think there's any asks in here that we have. It's really gonna make people respond. And most people, I don't think are gonna fight us on it. The one thing that's very different,
Oh,
not again.
Is it maybe like every time like a screensaver's coming on or something?
We can
No.
still hear you. Inga. If you guys want
I
to
know.
keep going, we can sit here
I'll
and
let,
see you.
I'll let Haley troubleshoot this while I keep running this, so.
And I like the
We're all
headings.
good.
that have-
We're all good. We can see you. We can hear you.
Keep going, guys.
yeah,
So,
I'll just stare at the owl.
yeah, we had some issues with this yesterday too, so I've already put this on our IT's radar so we can get this fixed. Sorry.
That's good.
We were just hacked.
That's me. I'm sorry.
Any other questions about this?
Sound I haven't heard in many years. I didn't know that that was still a thing.
Poltergeist.
Is that actually a screensaver? I didn't know that was a real thing
Yeah.
anymore.
That's my white noise
That's kind of nice.
on my
Yeah.
phone.
Whoa. Man, that's a
I don't see
throwback.
it here.
It's kind of like the ones for your.
I didn't know that
phone,
still
screen's all
exists.
broken.
Yeah. I have.
I just
Oh.
watched that movie, Christine.
What?
Poltergeist?
I just, yeah, with my,
How did it age?
it was actually pretty good.
Huh. I've never actually seen it.
It was pretty scary at the time.
Yeah.
I couldn't finish it and I don't think I slept for like a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that has haunted me.
Well, then I'm not gonna watch it.
Yeah. Well, that was when I was little, but I am trying again.
The
No.
original Salem's Lot. That
Oh.
one still gets me.
Really?
For some reason I have like this thing where I want to watch scary movies, but then I do and then I'm from.
Regret it. That's
Yeah,
kinda what
I
I'm
just need to
at.
stop.
Then you can't look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry for the segue. Okay, so there is a motion and a second on the floor to approve the space and facility use policy as presented. Is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, Paul Knopf.
Aye.
Christy Merritt.
Aye.
Stu Summers.
Aye.
Olga Granite. Aye. Kevin Pazer.
Aye.
Roger Rhodes.
Aye.
Julie Georgie. Aye. Motion carries.
He's right at the owl.
I've been trying to focus my attention now.
And last but not least, job descriptions and career path.
So we have begun calling these job descriptions, I call this document a career path because that's sort of what we've been working towards in the way we have these organized, is that they build on each other. This version doesn't have very many changes at all from last year. The main difference that I did is I really kind of just focused on formatting because we found that it's hard, the way I had it formatted before, it was just hard to copy and paste to job posting sites, for example, like in Indeed, and also to print it in a way that's focused in on one person, on one person's job. So I've improved that. We added a little bit of branding, reorganized just a few things, but there wasn't a lot of substantive content changes to it. So we would like to recommend reapproval of this, just so that it's on our attention each year, and we're making sure that we're going through and reviewing it and getting any changes in there that we need to.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone like to make a motion? To approve the job description, career path. Let's present it.
Move to
I move.
approve.
Stu, how about your second?
Move to approve.
Paul. And I think we'll say Stu seconded.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, is there any discussion, further discussion? Seeing none, we will move on to, Paul Knopf,
Aye.
Christy Merritt,
Aye.
Stu Summers,
Aye.
Olga Granite, aye. Kevin Pacer,
Aye.
Roger Rhodes,
Aye.
Julie Georgie, aye. Motion approved. Jesse?
Yeah,
Jesse, can you hear us?
I can, yes.
Okay, good.
Okay, all items for individual consideration have been voted on and approved. Is there anything else you would like to add?
Not for me, no.
And Stu's shaking his head.
Okay. Awesome. Would anyone like to make a motion? to adjourn?
I had a quick question. I saw on the last page, it had ribbon cutting for Portage, September 10th or 17th. And the 17th is a board meeting and it says here, so is that set and it's gonna
No, the team's
be
still
the
working
17th?
out.
Perhaps the meeting should be,
Yeah, we would
Okay.
move up there if we were gonna do I'm still waiting to double check with the engagement team.
On the note with that, if we're going to change the location of the September 17th board meeting, I need to know because that's the date of the public hearing for the budget. And I have
you gotta
to,
publish
Oh,
that.
I have to post the location for it.
I think it's probably better in that light to keep the board meeting in Valpo and we can do a ribbon cutting at a different point in Portage. That's more of a, hey, community, we're back kind of thing. And so that can be pushed for sure.
Okay, so
And
we'll
so
make a
all
note
of
to not.
That's up to the engagement team.
And technology wise, I will be out of town at that meeting, so I will need to be on a Zoom, so.
Hopefully we'll have this.
Yes.
sorted by then. We will work very hard to get this sorted by then. I do apologize.
Do you want Paul on deck to run the meeting in case there's technical issues?
Are you in town,
Why don't
Paul?
we do that?
Okay.
The truth is, the only thing that's really not working is
The screen share.
everything
We're
else
still
is working
screening
fine.
it.
So,
Yeah, everything else is good.
Yeah,
just
we're still
kind of seeing
screening.
each other like we're.
Exactly.
And so you can see Jesse.
I can see the whole meeting right here. It's just not coming from here up to there.
I will not be present on the.
I don't think I will either.
We need at least 4 of the 7 in person.
I will be landing from Hawaii that day. We'll see if I'm on time.
I'm coming back from Italy.
And I'm leaving for Nevada, so.
Okay, so that doesn't sound good.
And that-
For your 4 in.
Well, yeah, and that could be problematic because it's not just a meeting, if
It's
it's
the
the public
budget.
hearing for the budget.
Jesse, are you hearing this discussion?
And you
I
need
am.
4
It's,
people,
do we
right?
have four that be in attendance that day? I mean, or is there a different day, like a week later, a week before, some other day during the week that more of you could be in attendance? Because we could adjust that date.
So a week later, I know you'll be here later.
I'll be here a week later, a week before I leave for Hawaii.
So a week later, and you, Roger, you'll be back or no? You'll be-
Yeah, a week later, I'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I would still be gone.
Do any conflicts with you?
What,
Yeah, there's-
what date are you proposing now?
A week
Maybe.
later would be the 24th.
24th, yeah.
That sounds
I'm
better.
I'm out of town.
So Stu wouldn't be here on the 24th, but how many
And Julie wouldn't be, correct?
others?
I should be.
I'd be
yeah.
We'll have 2 out.
So, and I would be just Zoom, so, but I know that doesn't count. For the 24th, will be out. I'd be out on the 24th, but yeah.
So
So the
that's,
24th sounds
would you be
better.
here?
Yeah.
So that's 5 out of,
Yeah, so the 24th sounds better.
okay.
Okay, so we're moving the official board meeting to the 24th, not the 17th.
Good thing I got brought up. We're all out of town.
Uh,
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's 24th should
Yeah,
work.
Clay thinks.
Yeah, what's gonna happen regardless, but.
Yeah, and he was just worried about the Portage.
Yeah.
I just thought it was an issue that we'd be meeting here. and
None
everything recorded.
of us planned on being here.
I realized people would be all over the earth.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, is there any other discussion? All right, would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Do I have to call this one too?
Yeah.
Paul Knopf.
Aye.
Christy Merritt. Aye. Stu Summers.
Aye.
Olga Granite. Aye. Kevin Pacer.
Name.
I'm gonna say it's been a while.
Roger Rhodes.
Aye.
Julie Georgie. Aye. Motion to adjourn. Thank
I will
you.
never make that motion.
We don't need to sign any.
Yes,
Yeah.
there is the
With the
resolution
claims.
to join the internet.
Bye, guys.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Jesse.
And the,
Haley? Can we jump in your office to do this really quick? Cause I gotta get back over there.
All right, bye, Jesse. She'll
Bye,
go,
thank you.
she'll go chat you, I'm sure. Okay, bye-bye.
I will be back on the board.
Yeah,
Yes,
good to be
I
back.
know.
Yeah. I told them I was happy to be their second choice.
Did you really?
I got a big laugh, I did.
Did they laugh?
In fact, it was